What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. We've been trying to do this interview for a while.
Yes.
But Brandice Daniel is here. Thank you for joining me, founder of Harlem Fashion Row.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And I just was at your event. It was one of the most amazing events that I've been to. This is your annual event. And I just want to talk about Harlem Fashion Row, the history of that, because you started this back in 2007.
2007. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I was living in Harlem, and I was trying to, at the time, me and my friends were throwing parties.
Mm-hmm.
We were throwing Harlem brunches. We were doing, like, all kind of different things just to bring people together in Harlem. But I went to a fashion show actually in Brooklyn. And while I'm there, I was just like, you know what? I want to do this in Harlem. And so I started planning it. We did the very first fashion event, and I didn't know what I was doing, but we had 4 Black-owned boutiques that were based in Harlem that was a part of it. And that was kind of the start of it for me. It was like, I didn't know what it was, but I was like, there is something about this that's tied to my purpose.
Right.
Something, because I had never felt so passionate about anything in my entire life.
And look at us now in 2025 needing this more than ever. Because this is something you started in 2007 before we're in this, time that we're in now. And I also, dare I say that even back then, like right now, I'm very conscious about where I'm buying things from and who I'm buying them from. And that comes from like my products, the clothes that I wear, the food that I eat, and all of that. Because I think right now, a lot of what we're doing is under attack.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, even back then, though, I will tell you, I was looking on department store websites, and I'm like, how many of the designers that are sold in those stores are actually Black designers?
Right.
And at the time,
and
it
we're
was
buying it.
It was like 1%. But we were spending so much money on clothes. And so the only time we've really had a stake in this industry was during the 90s, right? When there was like Fat Farm,
that was
Rockwear,
amazing.
and John, all of those brands. And so since then, I'm like, how do we really create equality for designers of color in fashion?
Why do you think that? Because you're right, there was quite a boom during that time. I mean, we had Walkerwear, we had Aniche, we had so many amazing clothing lines. Carl Kanai, a lot of them have been making like comebacks here and there.
Yeah, they have
as well. But what do you think happened? Because it felt like it was like this huge rise, and then remember Magic.
I remember. Yeah.
Was the conference, and I think does it still go on? Yes,
it still happens. It still happens.
In
but
Vegas.
You have to think though, artists back then, they were wearing their own brands.
Right.
Like we don't have that right now.
It was
artists
like
come
Rough
out.
Riders, Apple Bottom. Listen, I used to work for Eminem, Shady Limited. Wu Wear. I worked for Wu Tang.
All of it. And they were wearing their own product. Right now, what rappers do you see wearing their own products? They're wearing all the luxury brands.
Yeah.
Right? And so we made this transition from like creating our own brands and wearing our own brands to we're actually going to get paid to kind of represent this luxury brand from Europe. And in the US, like it's just been so challenging for designers of color to actually get like equal footing. And so we've been fighting for that for the last 18 years.
Yeah,
like, how do we make sure that designers of color get similar opportunities as any other designer?
That's why with Virgil Abloh, that was such a big deal, having Off-White and then Louis Vuitton. And you actually, at this last, the Fashion Show and Style Awards, which is the 18th annual fashion show that you just had that I was at, Usher actually...
Which, by the way, you look so beautiful.
I did, thank you. I appreciate it. I be feeling so underdressed all the time because when I tell you people were dressed at that, I was like, it was my first time going.
I'm so happy you came.
I did not know what to expect. And when I tell you people were dressed to the nines, I mean, it was amazing. I just want to say that, to be in that space. I'm ready for next year, though. I think I got to step it up. Because going in that space, I did feel like, and I was with my girl Ingrid Best, and I was with Melissa Butler from the Lip Bar. Even that felt good for us to be there, like together as a collective, and then to see the fashion show and the Black designers that you highlighted. And I got to meet some of them afterward, and to see people walking the runway and to watch the awards, and just to see Jason Bolden, like everybody who was getting celebrated from our our culture, it felt great. It felt like we all belonged in that room.
Absolutely. That's the whole goal. Like when we do our fashion show and style awards every single year during New York Fashion Week, we're like, we want this to feel like our community is coming home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fashion events can feel a little...
Yeah, it was the room
it
to
can
be
feel
in,
a little
too.
standoffish. It was a good room to be in.
Yeah.
And the energy in that room was like, honestly, if I could have bottled that up, it was just so beautiful to see all of the brands. Like we have probably 20 brands that support that event.
Mm-hmm.
So, and big brands from Nike, Gap, Abercrombie, like so many brands also support the work that we're doing, and so I'm super grateful. And
I do want to say, for people who are listening, Harlem's Fashion Row, y'all also had an amazing collaboration with Gap.
Yes,
and I actually have gotten some of that stuff, and it was selling out, babies, which I think is amazing though to see, because even if I didn't know what Harlem's Fashion Row was, let's just say I had no idea, and then you see, and it's like, oh, this is fly.
It was so good.
And because when I first saw it, I didn't know. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And then I looked and I was like, okay, let me go and make sure I purchase this, because people need to see that. And every time I wear it, I get compliments. And it's like that made me go shop at the Gap.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's what the retailers have to realize right now. Like, we're paying attention to who's supporting us at this moment. Yeah. And Gap really showed up for that collab. And we may or may not have something else coming up with them in a few months.
Okay.
But no, so it was beautiful to see like 5 Black designers recreate the white shirt and hoodies for Gap earlier this year.
No, it's so good. So let's talk about Harlem's Fashion Row more so people can understand the evolution of it.
Yep.
So you started this back in 2007. It was a fashion show in Harlem with 4 boutiques.
Yep.
And then what happened from that? Like what was then the catalyst for more to happen?
So after that was when I went and looked on the websites, and I realized of our favorite department stores, and I realized that less than 1% of the designers on those department stores were designers of color. And I had to say at that moment, like, what can I do? Because I was working in fashion, but behind the scenes. And I said, every year, what I can do is I can put on a fashion show. I can show some of the best designers of color that there are in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I can invite buyers. I can invite stylists. I can invite people in fashion to actually come and see them. And so that was the thing we did every year, probably up until maybe 2018, when we got our big collaboration break with Nike.
Okay. Now talk to me about the Nike collaboration, please.
So 2017, we celebrated 10 years. I have to tell you, it was one of the hardest years I've ever had. I don't know what it is about the 10th year, but it was, it took a lot of push for me to keep going because we didn't get a lot of support that year. But I had said with my mouth, the thing that I really want is a collaboration. And we got a phone call in December of that year from someone who worked at an agency. And she said, hey, there's an athletic brand. They want to do something around Black designers. Are you interested? Absolutely.
I paid for it.
Absolutely, right? She's like, you got to sign an NDA. The NDA comes through, and it comes through with a big swoosh on it. And I was like, wait, this is for Nike? Like, what? And I'm on the phone with the Nike exec the next day, and she's like, hey, we've got this athlete, and he said that Black women are the strongest, and we want to do something with that statement. And so what we want to do is we want to do a sneaker that's designed by Black women. And do you know anyone? I'm like, of course,
yeah.
Of course,
Hello,
I know plenty of people.
Right.
And so before we knew it, maybe 2 weeks later, we were in Portland, and they told me that the athlete was LeBron James.
You were like, what?
I was like, what? Right. I was like, is this real? You know, all the way up until we walk into the Nike offices at Portland, and I'm just like, this is really real. And that collaboration, we honored him the next year. He was at our show, and we surprised the audience by launching the sneaker at that event.
Wow, that's amazing that something like that at a time when you were feeling like, do I even want to keep on going?
Yes.
That it was like, yes, you have to. Because that's kind of a sign.
Yeah, it was absolutely my sign, is that this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're on the right track. Keep going. And even the day it went on sale, I remember texting everybody, please buy this sneaker.
They're like, we can't find it.
5 minutes, my girlfriends were like, it's sold out. I was like, there is no way this sneaker sold out in 5 minutes, but it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
So after that, we started getting other opportunities. So we'd done a collaboration with Banana Republic right after that, American Girl, Janie and Jack, the kids wear brand. We got tapped by Timberland and Jimmy Choo to do a collaboration.
This is amazing.
All
it took was that one thing as a catalyst for everything else to happen.
Absolutely.
And what I think is interesting, and I want you to finish telling me that, but what I think is so interesting is that you felt like the 10th year you weren't getting the support that you needed to get to keep this thing going. And sometimes we can let that drag us down because you did end up getting Nike, and then I'm sure people were jumping back in.
Absolutely.
That you had hit up previously.
Absolutely.
But in business, you know what they say, there's no permanent enemies and no permanent friends.
Let me tell you, I am always like, whenever you want to join the party, I will dance.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I don't care. I'm like, you want to come at the beginning? I don't care if you just came and you just started working with us. I'm like, you're at the party. Mm-hmm. So let's do this.
And then after that, like you said, Jimmy Choo, Timberland.
We started working with so many different brands. We had a collaboration with Nordstrom. We had a collaboration with Abercrombie & Fitch. And so all of those things started to happen. And then in 2020, when the pandemic happened, we started a nonprofit, Icon 360. Mm-hmm. And that nonprofit, our very first donation was from the CFDA and Vogue.
Wow.
They gave us $1 million donation.
Amazing.
And Anna Wintour called me herself to tell me, hey, this is why we're doing this, and we're excited about the work that you're doing. And she had me in her editor's letter for the August issue of Vogue in 2020.
That's huge.
And it was that then opened up more doors, right? So we started working with more brands, and our nonprofit actually got its legs to run. And so, it's one of those things that honestly, you just got to keep going.
Right.
It is the entrepreneurship
it took 10 years for it to finally turn the corner where you felt like, did you have a day job during that time too?
I had a day job for 5 years.
Okay.
I worked in apparel production.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it's all tied in though, in a way.
It
is all tied in.
It is.
So Icon 360, tell us what that nonprofit, how that helps designers.
Yeah, so we actually, through that nonprofit, we're able to write designer grants from that. So the designers that participate in our show, they usually get between $10,000 to $20,000 to produce their collections.
Okay.
Most time when you're in a show, you have to pay to be a part of it. We actually give you a grant to be a part of it.
That's amazing.
And then in addition to that, we also support HBCU fashion departments. So you remember Clark Atlanta, the professor there, she got up and spoke at our Fashion Show and Style Awards this year, but we're pouring into the next generation. And so we've had students who've gotten jobs at Tiffany & Co., American Eagle, Gap, all of that through the programs that we run with our HBCU fashion departments.
It's interesting to see all these firsts right now. I saw the Hermes story.
Yes.
With,
that
Grace
was amazing.
Yeah, for her to be the first Black woman, I think, leading up the men's designs for Hermes.
Yeah, it's incredible. Even though we see so much in the world right now that has us all on edge, rightfully so, I will say that in the fashion industry and in creative spaces, our voices are always going to be some of the most powerful voices that are there. Mm-hmm. So I am really excited to see that fashion has really stayed committed to what they said they would say commit to diversity.
Right.
And that's been, again, you saw all the brands that I mentioned that night of the Fashion Show and Style Awards. People have continued to support this work.
And I want to say I love our own designers and our own brands, but it is important when we see people in other positions, we can see some huge brands have made some big mistakes because they don't have the right voices in the room.
Absolutely.
And the right people at the table that can be like, I don't think I don't think that's a good idea, or how about this, or this is what we like.
Yeah.
And just seeing all of those missteps, it also makes me think about Kanye and early on his woes that he had with trying to be in the fashion business and even wanting to be an intern to learn from the inside out, but feeling like he was rejected, from some of these places and couldn't get his foot in the door.
That's why our theme this year was This is the Table. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like we've been in this place where we're always trying to get a seat at their table.
Right.
I'm sick of it. Let them have their table, but the table that we've created, this is the table. And I don't even want to call it our table because that makes it smaller too.
It's the table.
It's the table.
Yeah.
Period.
It's inclusive. Everybody wants it.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to be in on it,
Absolutely.
And so, yeah.
And we all have to get to that place. No matter what it is you're building, make that the table.
Fashion does seem like such a difficult field, though, to break into, because, you know, we talk about like different industries and how like the restaurant business is hard. And, you know, for me being in that space, I know how hard. I have a coffee shop. That's, you know, that's not easy. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. But it feels like with fashion, there's so many people that are like, have a clothing line, or, you know, that are trying to be seen, to get somebody to wear their stuff. What would you say to some emerging designers now that know they have some fly stuff, but how do I get people to actually buy it and wear it?
I think the biggest thing is know what you stand for. Like, have a very clear brand message. So everything you post need to be tying back to whatever that brand message is. Because if you have, like, even we look at designers all the time for opportunities. We're vetting designers for collaborations, but I have to sell those designers to the brand. Like, I can't just say, hey, let this designer be a part of this. I have to say, this is why. Now go to their Instagram. You see, this is their perspective. It's really interesting. And then they'll go, oh, yeah, it is interesting. So sometimes it's not even just about the actual product and how good it is. It's also, what is the world around the product? What is the brand that you've built around that product? And what's the story? Like, fashion is so much about storytelling. And so you need to have a really strong story in order to be able to attract like the fashion community to what it is you're doing.
What I love about what you've been doing with Harlem's Fashion Row is that it feels like you're always adding on to what you have that's working. Yes. This is working. Okay, now what's the next step? You have the Beauty Collective also.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
We have the Beauty Collective event that's coming up. For years, we've had like beauty pros in our backstage, and they're like, Brandice, when are you going to do something for us?
Because it doesn't exist without them.
Right.
None
so
of
I'm like,
this.
exactly.
Right.
So this year, I was like, you know what? This is the year for us to actually, how do we bridge the gap between beauty and fashion? How do we actually let, like, you know, hairstylists and makeup artists and nail artists know, how do you get hired to work on a campaign shoot or get hired to work on an editorial shoot? And so we're actually combining our fashion world with the beauty world. Is happening next. It is happening November 10th and 11th. Very soon. It's happening November 10th and 11th. There may still be some space. So if people are interested, go to our Instagram at Harlem's Fashion Row, and you can still apply to be a part of it. But it's going to be such an amazing 2 days, where the first day is panels, is talks. We're hosting it at L'Oreal's corporate office. The second day, we're doing actually industry stops. So the beauty pros are going to actually go to Kith, and they're going to go to PVH, and they're going to actually talk to the people who work at these companies to go like, what are you looking for when you're looking to hire someone in my position?
That's nice and tangible. I like that. How do you see Harlem's Fashion Row expanding? Because I know you're planning to take this to more places.
Absolutely. So we launched HFR House. It's coming to multiple cities around the U.S. very soon. We did the first one here in New York in partnership with CultureCon, and it's an elevated shopping experience. I did not want to call it a pop-up shop because it really is a dope way to meet designers. They're going to be there. You can meet the designers, try on their products. We have activations that are there that are happening at the same time. At some HFR House events, we'll have fashion shows. It looks like we're going to be at Art Basel doing a HFR House. We may be doing one in Atlanta soon. We have one coming up with the Congressional Black Caucus in D.C.
That's amazing. I love it.
That's coming up. So we will be expanding that to multiple cities. So that's one of the things that we're doing. And then we're also building something called HFR Studio, where we're going to be actually partnering with designers to build out new products for their collection in a price point that people can actually afford.
Man, did you ever envision all of this happening from an idea you had 18 years ago?
So, you know what? The answer is yes and no, because when I first started this, I couldn't have imagined. Like, I think about 2021, we did a show at the apartment that I used to live in, and Anna Wintour was there, and she was in my old apartment that I used to live in. And I was just like, this is insane. So there are things that happen like that I cannot believe. But I had a coach at the start of my business, and he said, write out every idea that you have for this business. Because when you're first starting something, you have so many ideas. And I still go back and I look at that sheet where I wrote out all the ideas, and I have not done all of them just yet.
Wow, you had a coach. Okay, I think that's interesting too. Yeah. That's helpful for people, because sometimes we try to like isolate ourselves and come up with ideas, but a coach really helped you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You got to have people around you. Like you got to like, Ingrid is like my entrepreneur. Like we get on the phone
Me too.
and we're like, you know what I mean? Like we're
Shout out
talking.
to Best Wines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about entrepreneurship all the time. Like you got to get an entrepreneur squad, but then you also need someone who's like a few steps ahead of you, like a coach who can just help you process some of the things that you're thinking through and some of the things that you go through.
Right.
As a business owner.
The other thing that you have, the last thing I want to talk about, the closet challenge.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I would do good at this, but tell me about the closet challenge.
Okay. Now this right here is an exclusive because I have not, like, Vogue doesn't know about this. Harper's Bazaar, like, I told my publicist, no, I'm going to talk about this on Way Up.
Oh, Way Up. Okay. I feel special, period. Okay.
So no one knows about this. This is the first time that I have ever talked about this. So I'm really excited. So we have launched the Closet Challenge. You can go to theclosetchallenge.com. This is what it is. All of us have clothes in our closets. Would you please consider dedicating just 10% of that closet to designers of color over the next year?
Okay.
So that means that as you're thinking about what you shop, like what you're buying and where you're shopping, think, you know what, if I'm going to buy 5 pieces this month or 10 pieces this month, I'm going to buy one of those pieces from a designer of color.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, I love it. So
you know whose store I love that I really went and blew a bag in? Telfar.
Oh, yes.
Have you been to the Telfar store?
I have not been to the store. I have a bag with me right now.
When I tell you the clothing, though, is really amazing too, and they also have like the Timberland Telfar boot. I
love that
collab.
boot.
Yeah, me too.
I love that boot.
But it's a beautiful store, and I love to see like that come to fruition and happen. I went there. I did not expect to like buy all the stuff that I bought, but it was really great.
I love that. Like Telfar is killing it. Like him, Brendan. Matter of fact, I didn't say this. So for people who sign up for the Closet Challenge, this week, actually in the next 48 hours, I'm going to know they came from Way Up with Yee.
Okay.
Somebody will get a free Brendan Blackwood bag.
Okay, let me go sign up now.
We've already got the bag on the website. We've already got the bag in our office.
Hold on.
We've already got the bag.
Theclosetchallenge.com.
Theclosetchallenge.com.
Let me sign up. Okay, I'm signing up. I feel like I'm going to win. That wouldn't be fair.
That wouldn't be fair.
No, that wouldn't be fair. I will let somebody else win. Okay.
Yes.
But anyway, Brandice, is there anything that we did not mention that you want to make sure we talk about since we got an exclusive from you?
I think that we all have a choice to make every single time we decide to spend our money. I want us all to be so intentional about how we're spending our money. Like, make sure you're saying like, okay, this is a coffee shop. How do I go to a Black-owned coffee shop? This is a sweater. You know what? I need a dress to wear for the holidays. What's a dress that by a Black-owned designer that I can actually support? I think if we do that, like we can really make a ton of shifts. I know right now things are hard and it's challenging, but if we come together, this might be our strongest moment we've ever had.
And I want to say it's challenging for the designers with the tariffs.
Yes.
I've seen so many people that need support right now because they have shipments that are stuck or they have to sell this in order to be able to get, and I've seen so many different people experiencing different challenges. And I do believe that now is the time that if you can support these designers or spread the word. If you can't buy it, post it.
Yes,
post something fly that you see that they have or listen, tell somebody to buy it for you. We always.
Exactly. Christmas is coming up too.
Tell them, get me this Mulator dress.
Exactly.
So, yes.
I love it. I love it.
So, yes, that's what we're going to do. But thank you so much for coming up here. Theclosetchallenge.com. Get that Brendan Blackwood bag. Make sure you buy that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can purchase. And so... Also, on the website, can people purchase directly?
So on the web, once you sign up for the challenge, we're actually going to send you a style guide that we've created with here are some designers that are pre-vetted by us.
Okay.
So we can tell you they're going to ship their stuff on time, and they're really beautiful products, and you're going to continue to get style guides. So we're going to be introducing you to new designers every week. You'll be getting new designers into your inbox that you can check out.
I like that because we like to also be exclusive and get it first. So
don't
get left behind.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brandice Daniel. Make sure you follow Harlem's Fashion Row.
Yes.
Make sure you go to theclosetchallenge.com. I feel like if you win this bag, hit us up. Let us know because I want to know who got it.
I love it. I love it.
All right. It's Way Up.
Thank you.